Welcome back everyone. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of British coin collecting and looking at the top 5 most valuable United Kingdom sixpence coins. The iconic British sixpence coin has a long history and many different designs, mint marks, and metal compositions. While most threepence coins are common and worth only a small amount, certain years, rare mint errors, and coins in exceptional condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors. Let's get started. First up, the 1956 United Kingdom sixpence coin, a small yet historically significant piece of currency from the era of Queen Elizabeth II. Many collectors and coin enthusiasts often overlook this coin because of its modest size and common circulation, but its historical importance and collector appeal make it an interesting piece to discuss. In today's episode, we will explore the history behind this coin, its unique design features, its rarity in different conditions, and most importantly, the auction market value in US dollars. By the end of this video, you'll know whether the 1956 sixpence in fine condition could be a hidden treasure in your coin collection. The sixpence has a long and fascinating history in British currency. The denomination first appeared in 1551 during the reign of King Edward VI and remained part of British coinage for over 4 centuries. By the time the 1956 sixpence was minted, the United Kingdom was under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had ascended the throne just a few years earlier in 1952. The coin belongs to the pre-decimal British currency system, where £1 was equal to 20 shillings, and each shilling contained 12 pence. A sixpence therefore represented half a shilling, which made it a useful everyday coin for small purchases. After 1946, British sixpences were no longer made from silver due to metal shortages after World War II. Instead, they were produced using cupronickel, a durable alloy made mostly of copper and nickel. In 1956, the Royal Mint produced a very large number of these coins, with a mintage of over 109 million pieces, meaning they were widely circulated across the United Kingdom. The 1956 sixpence has several distinctive design features that make it recognizable to collectors. On the obverse side of the coin, you will find the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The young queen is shown facing to the right, wearing a laurel wreath. Around the portrait appears the Latin inscription identifying her royal title. On the reverse side, the coin features a beautifully detailed floral design representing the nations of the United Kingdom. The design includes a Tudor rose for England, a thistle for Scotland, a shamrock for Ireland, and a leek for Wales. These symbols surround the denomination sixpence and the year 1956. The coin measures approximately 19.4 mm in diameter and weighs around 2.8 grams, making it one of the smaller coins of the pre-decimal era. Despite its small size, the design is elegant and historically meaningful, which is why many collectors enjoy adding this coin to their British coin collections. When discussing rarity, it's important to understand that the 1956 sixpence is generally considered a common coin due to its extremely high mintage. Millions of these coins were circulated across the United Kingdom during the 1950s and 1960s, and many examples still survive today. However, condition plays a crucial role in determining collector demand. Coins in heavily worn or damaged condition typically have very little value and may sell for only a small amount above face value. In circulated or damaged condition, collectors usually value the coin mainly as a historical artifact rather than a rare investment piece. That said, some collectors still seek out worn coins for historical sets, especially those assembling complete collections of Queen Elizabeth II pre-decimal coinage. Even a damaged example can hold educational and historical interest, particularly for new collectors entering the hobby. Now let's talk about the part everyone is curious about: the value. In today's collector market, the 1956 United Kingdom sixpence is generally affordable. Auction listings and collector marketplaces show that circulated examples typically sell for around $1 to $4 US dollars, depending on condition. A coin in fine condition, which means moderate wear but clear details, usually falls in the range of $2 to $6. Higher grade coins such as extremely fine or uncirculated examples can reach $10 or more, particularly if the coin has strong luster and minimal marks. While this coin may not be extremely rare, collectors still appreciate it as part of Britain's historic coinage series. If you believe you have a 1956 sixpence in your collection, there are several things you should check before determining its value. First, carefully examine the coin's condition. Look for details on the Queen's portrait and the floral design on the reverse. Coins with sharper details and fewer scratches will generally be more valuable. Second, always store your coins properly. Using coin holders or protective capsules can help prevent damage and preserve their condition for the future. Third, compare your coin with recent auction listings. Coin values can fluctuate depending on collector demand and the overall market for British coins. Finally, remember that even common coins can become valuable if they are preserved in exceptional condition. Sometimes, a simple coin kept in good shape for decades can surprise collectors with its auction potential. In conclusion, The 1956 United Kingdom sixpence may not be one of the rarest coins in British history, but it remains an important piece of the country's numismatic heritage. With a large mintage and widespread circulation, most examples are fairly common today. However, its beautiful design, connection to the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and its place in the historic pre-decimal currency system make it an interesting collectible for coin enthusiasts around the world. While a typical 1956 sixpence in fine condition might only be worth a few dollars, it still holds historical value and sentimental significance. For collectors, every coin tells a story, and this small sixpence is a reminder of everyday life in Britain during the 1950s. Next up, the 1958 United Kingdom sixpence. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, especially when found in circulated condition. However, for collectors and history enthusiasts, even a common coin like this can hold interesting value and historical significance. In this video, we'll uncover the story behind the 1958 sixpence, examine its design and unique features, discuss its rarity in circulated or damaged condition, and finally explore its current market value in dollars at auctions and collector markets. The sixpence has a long and rich history in British coinage. First introduced in 1551 during the reign of King Edward VI and continuing for centuries as an important everyday coin in the United Kingdom. By 1958, the coin was being issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose first portrait appeared on British coins shortly after she ascended the throne in 1952. The 1958 sixpence was part of the pre-decimal British currency system, where 12 pence made a shilling and 20 shillings made a pound. At the time, the sixpence was commonly called a tanner and was widely used in daily transactions across Britain. This coin was produced in very large numbers. Records show that about 123,518,527 pieces were minted in 1958, meaning it was a common coin in circulation during that era. Even though it was widely used, the sixpence remained a beloved coin in British culture and continued circulating until the decimal currency system replaced it in 1971. The 1958 United Kingdom sixpence has several design elements that make it instantly recognizable. On the obverse, the coin features the young laureate portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing to the right. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The reverse side of the coin carries a beautiful symbolic design. It displays 4 intertwined plant emblems representing the nations of the United Kingdom: the Tudor rose for England, the thistle for Scotland, the leek for Wales, the shamrock for Ireland. Above the design appears the inscription FID Def, meaning Defender of the Faith, while the denomination sixpence and the year 1958 appear below. In terms of specifications, the coin was struck from cupronickel, weighed about 2.83 grams, and had a diameter of roughly 19 millimeters. Because the 1958 sixpence had such a high mintage, it is not considered a rare coin by most collectors. Millions of these coins circulated through shops, markets, and everyday transactions throughout the late 1950s and 1960s. When a coin like this is found in circulated or damaged condition, the value usually remains quite modest. However, collectors still enjoy acquiring these coins because they represent an interesting period in British monetary history. Even worn coins can still have appeal, especially for beginners building a collection of British pre-decimal coins. Some collectors also enjoy searching through circulated coins to find higher-grade examples or coins with unusual toning or historical character. Now let's talk about the part everyone wants to know: the value of the 1958 sixpence today. According to collector price guides, the value of this coin depends heavily on its condition: very worn condition, about 5 pence, around $0.06 fine condition, about 20 pence, around $0.25 very fine condition, about 50 pence, around $0.60 extremely fine condition, about £2, around $2.50 uncirculated condition, up to £5 or about $6. In many online marketplaces and auctions, circulated examples are commonly sold for around $1 to $3 depending on condition and demand. This means that while the coin is not extremely valuable, it remains an affordable and historically interesting collectible. If you are interested in collecting the 1958 sixpence, here are a few useful tips. First, always examine the condition of the coin carefully. Coins with clear details, minimal scratches, and strong lettering are usually more valuable. Second, consider collecting a full series of sixpence coins from different years, especially those issued during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Third, store your coins properly in protective holders or albums to prevent corrosion and damage. Finally, if you ever come across a sixpence that appears unusually shiny or well-preserved, it may be worth having it professionally graded by a coin expert. In conclusion, the 1958 United Kingdom sixpence may not be the rarest coin in the world, but it remains a charming piece of British history. With its elegant design, connection to Queen Elizabeth II's early reign, and long tradition in British coinage, this small coin continues to capture the interest of collectors around the world. Even in circulated condition, the 1958 sixpence serves as a reminder of the days before decimal currency and offers collectors an affordable entry into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Next up, the United Kingdom sixpence, 1949. At first glance, this small coin may look ordinary, especially if it's worn, scratched, or damaged. Many people even overlook it in old collections or jars of coins. But the truth is that even damaged coins like this can still attract collectors and sometimes appear in auctions. In this video, we'll talk about the history of the 1949 sixpence, its design features, its rarity among collectors, and how much it might sell for today in the auction market, all explained in simple terms. The United Kingdom sixpence 1949 was issued during the reign of George VI, who ruled Britain from 1936 until 1952. The sixpence was part of the traditional British pre-decimal currency system, where 12 pence made a shilling and 20 shillings made a pound. This coin was minted in 1949 at the Royal Mint in London, during the period after World War II when Britain was rebuilding its economy. Around 41 million coins were produced, making it fairly common compared with some other British coins of the era. Even though millions were made, these coins circulated heavily for decades. Because of this long circulation, many surviving examples today are worn or damaged. That's why collectors sometimes find them in low condition rather than in pristine mint condition. The design of the United Kingdom sixpence 1949 reflects the style of mid-20th century British coinage. On the front, or obverse, the coin shows the portrait of George VI facing left. Around the portrait appears the Latin inscription meaning George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons. The reverse side features the royal cipher of the king beneath a crown, with the word sixpence written below and the date 1949 on either side of the design. The coin has a reeded edge and is made of cupronickel, weighing about 2.83 grams and measuring around 19 millimeters in diameter. An important historical detail is that this design was part of Britain's post-1947 coinage, after silver was removed from circulating coins and replaced with copper-nickel metal in terms of rarity. The United Kingdom sixpence 1949 is generally considered common because of its large mintage. However, the story changes slightly when it comes to special varieties or extremely well-preserved examples. For collectors, the most valuable pieces are those in uncirculated or proof condition. But damaged coins, including those that are scratched, bent, corroded, or heavily worn, still have interest for beginner collectors or people building date sets. Damaged 1949 sixpence is usually valued more for its historical interest than its rarity. However, collectors sometimes buy such coins as affordable examples to complete their collections, especially if they are missing that specific year. Now let's talk about the value. According to coin value guides, a typical 1949 sixpence in average circulated condition can be worth only a few pence to a few pounds depending on quality. Converted into US dollars, that means damaged or heavily worn coin. About 10 cents to 50 cents average circulated condition, about $1 to $3 uncirculated example, around $5 or more. However, rare proof versions or exceptional specimens can sell for much higher prices at auction. Some rare proof examples of this date have even reached hundreds or over $1,000 in high-grade collector sales. So while a damaged coin might not be extremely valuable, the same coin in pristine condition could be worth dramatically more. If you think you have a United Kingdom sixpence 1949, here are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always check the coin's condition carefully. Scratches, corrosion, or heavy wear reduce value significantly. Second, avoid cleaning old coins. Cleaning can remove the original surface and actually lower the coin's collectible value. Another tip is to look for coins with clear details and readable inscriptions, even if they are circulated. These usually sell more easily than coins that are extremely damaged. Finally, if you find a coin that looks unusually sharp or shiny, it might be worth getting it checked by a professional coin dealer or grading service. Sometimes collectors discover valuable varieties or proof coins by mistake. To wrap things up, the United Kingdom sixpence 1949 is a fascinating piece of British monetary history. Although millions were minted, the coin remains popular among collectors because it represents the post-war era of United Kingdom and the reign of George VI. Even in damaged condition, these coins still hold historical value and can be interesting additions to any coin collection. While most damaged examples sell for only a small amount of money, rare high-grade or proof versions can reach impressive auction prices. Next up, the 1967 United Kingdom sixpence. At first glance, this small coin might seem ordinary, but it represents the final chapter of Britain's long-running pre-decimal currency system. For collectors and history lovers, coins like this tell an incredible story about the past. In this video, we'll explore the history of the 1967 sixpence, examine its design and unique features, discuss collector demand, and reveal its current auction market value in US dollars, especially when the coin is found in very fine condition. If you enjoy rare coin discoveries and hidden treasures, Stay tuned because this small coin still captures the attention of collectors around the world. The sixpence has a long and fascinating history in British currency. The denomination was first introduced in 1551 during the reign of King Edward VI, and it remained part of everyday life in Britain for more than 4 centuries. Before decimalisation, the British monetary system was based on pounds, shillings, and pence, where £1 equaled 20 shillings and 240 pennies. In this system, the sixpence represented half a shilling. The 1967 issue holds special significance because it was the last sixpence struck for circulation before Britain changed to a decimal currency system in 1971. Even though the coin stopped being produced in 1967, it actually continued circulating until 1980 before finally being withdrawn from legal tender. This coin was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and features the young portrait of the Queen on the obverse side. By the 1960s, the United Kingdom was preparing for decimalisation, making the 1967 sixpence one of the final symbols of the traditional British monetary system. The design of the 1967 sixpence is both elegant and symbolic. On the obverse side, the coin displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing right, designed by the famous artist Mary Gillick. Around the portrait appears the Latin inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The reverse side of the coin carries a beautiful emblem made of 4 plant symbols representing the nations of the United Kingdom. These include the Tudor rose for England, the leek for Wales, the thistle for Scotland, and the shamrock for Northern Ireland, all arranged in a cross pattern. In terms of physical specifications, the coin measures about 19 mm in diameter and weighs approximately 2.83 grams. Unlike earlier sixpences made from silver, the 1967 version was produced from cupronickel, meaning it contains no precious metal. Even though it lacks silver content, the coin's historical significance and distinctive design make it an attractive addition to many coin collections. When it comes to rarity, the 1967 sixpence is generally considered a common coin. The Royal Mint produced an enormous number of these coins, around 240 million pieces, making it widely available today. Because of this high mintage, even coins found in worn or damaged condition usually do not command high prices. However, collectors still appreciate the coin because it marks the end of the traditional sixpence series. Coins in poor or damaged condition are mostly collected for historical interest rather than investment value. Some collectors also keep them as nostalgic items or lucky charms. The sixpence has long been associated with British traditions, including wedding customs and the famous Christmas pudding tradition where sixpence symbolized good luck and prosperity. Now let's talk about the value, the part most collectors are curious about. The market price of the 1967 sixpence depends heavily on its condition. According to coin value guides, a typical circulated coin might sell for around 5 pence to 65 pence, depending on its grade. A coin graded very fine, which means moderate wear but clear details, usually falls near the middle of this range. When converted to US currency, that equals roughly 10 cents to 80 cents in most cases. However, there are exceptions. Coins sold in collector sets, historical displays, or special presentations can sometimes reach $2 to $5 at auction, especially if the coin has an attractive appearance or historical packaging. In rare situations, a pristine or uncirculated specimen might sell for slightly higher amounts. While the monetary value may be small, the coin's historical significance as the last widely circulating sixpence keeps it popular among beginner collectors. If you're interested in collecting the 1967 sixpence or similar British coins, there are a few helpful tips to keep in mind. First, always check the coin's condition or grade. Coins graded very fine or better tend to be more appealing to collectors and may sell more easily. Second, store coins properly in protective holders or coin albums to prevent scratches, corrosion, or environmental damage. Proper storage helps preserve both the coin's appearance and its value. Third, consider collecting a complete set of sixpence coins from different years. Building a full collection from the early silver issues to the final cupronickel coins can be both fun and educational. Finally, always research recent auction listings to understand real market prices before buying or selling. To conclude, the 1967 United Kingdom sixpence may not be the rarest coin in the world, but it holds an important place in British numismatic history. As the final circulating issue before decimalisation, it represents the end of a monetary tradition that lasted for more than 400 years. Even though its market value is usually modest, often less than $1 in very fine condition, the coin remains a meaningful collectible for history lovers and coin enthusiasts alike. Its beautiful design, royal portrait, and symbolic national emblems make it a memorable piece of Britain's past. Next up, the 1962 United Kingdom sixpence. Many collectors and coin enthusiasts often wonder if old coins like this could be worth a fortune. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the history, design, rarity, and auction market value of the 1962 sixpence, especially when found in fine condition. By the end of the video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin interesting to collectors and how much it could sell for in today's market in US dollars. The sixpence was part of Britain's famous pre-decimal currency system, which was used for centuries before the country switched to decimal coinage in 1971. The 1962 sixpence was minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and it represents the early years of her long reign. This coin was produced by the Royal Mint, the official manufacturer of British coins. During the early 1960s, the sixpence was still widely used in everyday transactions, often worth 6 old pennies, which equaled 1/40th of a British pound. Millions of these coins circulated across the United Kingdom, making them a familiar piece of pocket change for people during that time. Today, however, these coins are no longer in circulation and have become collectible pieces of British monetary history. The 1962 sixpence may look simple, but it has several distinctive design features that make it interesting for collectors. On the obverse, the coin displays a young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Mary Gillick. Around the portrait is the Latin inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen on the reverse side. The coin features an elegant floral design representing the 4 nations of the United Kingdom. The design includes the Tudor rose for England, thistle for Scotland, leek for Wales, and shamrock for Ireland, all intertwined in a symbolic arrangement. The words FID Def Sixpence 1962 appear around the design, referring to Defender of the Faith. The coin itself is made of cupra nickel, weighs about 2.83 grams, and has a diameter of roughly 90 millimeters, giving it a small but sturdy appearance. One important factor that affects the value of any coin is rarity. Unfortunately for treasure hunters, the 1962 sixpence is not considered a rare coin. In fact, more than 160 million pieces were minted, meaning it was produced in very large quantities. Because so many coins were made, collectors usually encounter them quite frequently. When the coin is in damaged or heavily worn condition, its collector demand is usually very low. Scratches, corrosion, and faded designs can significantly reduce its appeal. However, even damaged examples can still attract beginner collectors who want to complete a historical coin collection from the era of Queen Elizabeth II. Now let's talk about the part everyone is curious about: the value. The market price of a 1962 sixpence depends mainly on its condition. According to coin value guides, examples in fine condition are typically worth around 5 pence to 15 pence, while uncirculated pieces can reach about £1.20 or slightly more. When converted into US currency, a fine condition 1962 sixpence usually sells for approximately 6 cents to 20 cents. Higher grade coins might reach $1 to $2 in collector markets or online auctions. While this may not sound like a fortune, some collectors still enjoy owning the coin because of its historical value and connection to the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. If you're interested in collecting coins like the 1962 sixpence, there are a few useful tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the condition of the coin carefully. Coins with sharper details and fewer scratches are far more desirable to collectors. Second, try to store your coins properly. Using coin holders or protective capsules can prevent damage from moisture and handling. Third, research different years and variations of sixpence coins. While the 1962 version is common, some earlier or special editions of sixpence coins can be significantly more valuable. Finally, if you plan to sell or buy coins, checking auction websites and coin dealer catalogs can help you understand the current market demand. In conclusion, the 1962 United Kingdom sixpence is a fascinating piece of British coin history from the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II. While it is not considered rare due to its large mintage, it still holds historical significance and remains a popular coin among beginner collectors. In fine condition, the coin usually sells for only a few cents to about $1, but its true value lies in its connection to Britain's pre-decimal currency era. If you happen to find one in excellent or uncirculated condition, it could be a nice addition to your collection even if it doesn't make you a millionaire. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed learning about this classic British coin, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow coin collectors. Who knows, the next coin we explore might be worth a fortune.